If you work in hard rock, you already know this truth.
When your primary crusher goes down, everything goes down.
Today on the Lippmann Academy CrushCast podcast, we're digging into a machine built specifically for that reality, the 3650j jaw crusher, a 92,000-pound workhorse designed to take the hits, keep running, and protect your uptime.
And later in the episode, we'll talk about what happens when you put that beast on wheels and how it stacks up against other machines in its class.
Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Lippmann Academy CrushCast, built for decision makers in high-volume, aggregate, mining, and recycling operations. Nick and Jessica share practical insight for those selecting crushing equipment, managing quarry and plant production, and driving uptime and efficiency across material processing fleets. If your work is about moving rock, maximizing tons per hour, and running safer, more profitable sites, this is your show. This podcast uses AI-generated voice and presentation technologies with human oversight at every stage. All content is developed, reviewed, and approved by Lippmann. The information in these episodes is intended for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute professional or business advice. Let's get started.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Lippmann Academy CrushCast. I'm Jessica, one of your AI co-hosts, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be back in the studio today.
Hey, Jess, and I'm AI co-host Nick.
We are stripping away the paint, the marketing slogans, all of it, to look at the absolute physics of breaking rock. We've got a stack of engineering specs, blueprints, and field reports right here, and we're focusing on a machine that's been called the heavyweight champion of the industry.
And you're spot on with that heavyweight description. We aren't just talking about any piece of equipment today. We're talking about the backbone of hard rock applications. If this machine stops, the entire quarry stops.
So we are focusing today on the Lippmann 3650j jaw crusher. And we're not just looking at the stationary version. Later on, we're going to talk about the portable wheeled version, the 3650JW. But Nick, what's our mission today? What do we need to uncover about this thing?
The mission is simple, really. We need to understand why this specific machine is the go-to when reliability is just, non-negotiable. There are a lot of crushers out there.
A lot.
But the 3650J has this reputation for being built like an absolute tank. So we're going to look at the nuts and bolts of the bare jaw first, the construction, the power, the sheer mass of it.
Okay.
Then we'll look at the portable plant, and finally we're going to do a little side-by-side with some other machines on the market to see who comes out on top.
Fantastic. I love a good showdown. But let's start with the star of the show, the 3650J bare jaw. I dug into the specs for today's episode, and the numbers are pretty staggering.
They are.
Walk us through the basics, Nick. I assume those numbers, 36 and 50, they aren't just random digits.
No, they definitely aren't. When we say 3650J, we're referring to the dimensions of the jaw opening. It has a 36-inch gape and a 50-inch width.
Okay, gape and width.
Now, for the listener who might be new to this, the gape is the measurement at the top opening between the stationary jaw die and the moving jaw die. A 36-inch gape means this machine is designed to accept a maximum feed size of about 29 inches.
So picture a solid boulder, roughly 2.5 feet in diameter. This thing can swallow that whole.
Exactly. It's designed to take something that size and just crush it down. And to do that, you need mass. The bare jaw alone weighs in at 92,000 pounds.
Wait, hold on. 92,000 pounds.
That's right.
I want to pause on that for a second, because in a lot of industries, like, say, automotive or aerospace, it's all about making things lighter, faster. Why is crushing so obsessed with adding weight?
That is a great question, Jess. In crushing, weight is essentially, it's a battery for kinetic energy. When you are trying to shatter a piece of granite that has a compressive strength of like 30,000 psi, you get this massive shock wave pushing back. The machine is light. That energy just shakes the whole structure. It cracks welds, it destroys bearings. But if the machine is heavy, that mass, it absorbs the energy. It provides inertia. The 3650J uses a 250 horsepower motor, but it's the mass of the flywheels in the frame that keeps that momentum going.
So in this world, heavy actually equals smooth.
Precisely. And heavy equals longevity. You do not want a light machine when you're dealing with hard rock.
Hey, 92,000 pounds, it's hard to even visualize. But let's talk about how that weight is held together. I was reading through the engineering notes, and there seems to be this This divide in the industry between bolted frames and welded frames. The 3650j is a welded frame.
It is.
Play devil's advocate for me. Isn't a bolted frame easier to repair? You know, if a part breaks, you just unbolt it, swap it out.
In theory, yes. And that is why a lot of competitors use bolted frames. It's also, frankly, much cheaper to manufacture and ship. You can send it in pieces. But here's the reality of hard rock crushing. Vibration is the enemy of a bolt. Over time, millions of crushing cycles will stretch those bolts, loosen the nuts, and once that frame starts to flex, you lose efficiency, and you can have a catastrophic failure where the frame actually twists.
So Lippmann just welds it into a single monolithic unit.
Exactly. Heavy-ribbed steel plate construction. It's hand-welded by skilled technicians. But, and this is a really crucial insight, just welding alone is not enough.
Oh.
When you weld steel, the extreme heat creates all this internal tension in the metal. If you just weld it and send it out, those internal stresses will eventually snap under the load of crushing rock.
So how do they solve for that?
They use a process called thermal stress relieving. So after the frame is welded, but before any machining is done, they heat treat the entire massive frame. This essentially resets the molecular structure of the steel. It relaxes all those internal tensions.
That makes so much sense. It's like stretching a muscle after a workout so you don't pull it, but on this huge industrial scale. That feels like a critical detail to ask about if you're buying a crusher.
Absolutely. It's a huge manufacturing step.
Yeah.
It adds time, it adds cost, but it ensures the machine lasts for decades, not years.
Okay, let's go inside the machine. What's actually doing the work?
Inside, you've got this oversized shaft made of a special forged alloy. That's supported by extra-large radial thrust tapered roller bearings. These are not off-the-shelf parts. They are designed specifically to absorb the shock of breaking granite.
Right.
And the flywheels are dynamically balanced to reduce vibration, which helps whether you're stationary or on a portable plant.
And I noticed the specs mention a curved jaw die.
Right. The curved design, combined with a steep nip angle, gives you a much better crushing motion. Think of it like a pair of scissors. If the blades are too wide, the material just slides out. If the angle is steep, it grabs the material and pulls it in.
Okay.
The Lippmann design prevents what we call popcorning.
Oh, when a rock just keeps jumping out of the chamber instead of breaking.
You got it. It keeps popping up. The curved design forces the rock down, which increases your throughput, your efficiency.
Efficiency is the name of the game. Now, Nick, I want to move to what the documentation calls the Lippmann edge. We've talked about the skill, but machines die without proper maintenance, specifically lubrication. I know a lot of crushers run on grease, but this one is different.
Very different. The 3650j features an oil bath lubrication system, sometimes called AutoLube. In my opinion, this is superior to grease in almost every single way for this application.
Why is that? I mean, grease is simple, right? It stays put. Why switch to oil?
Grease is simple, but it's flawed. Grease doesn't flow, so it doesn't carry heat away from the bearing. In a high-friction environment like a crusher bearing, heat is what kills you. The Lippmann scissor uses a 1-horsepower pump to provide a metered flow of filtered oil directly to the bearings. It flushes out contaminants, and, crucially, it acts as a coolant.
And I assume it removes the human element, too. You don't have to rely on someone remembering to pump the grease gun every shift.
Exactly. It has a 30-gallon reservoir with sight gauges, so you can instantly see your oil levels. And filtration is standard. There are in-tank filters that clean the oil before it goes back to the bearings. This extends your oil change intervals significantly. But more importantly, it has built-in safety tech.
Okay.
There are low-pressure alerts. If the system loses oil pressure, say a line breaks, it automatically shuts the crusher down.
That's a massive insurance policy. Instead of melting a bearing and ruining a shaft, the machine just turns itself off.
It saves you hundreds of thousands of dollars in a catastrophic failure. It even has tank heaters to preheat the oil. If you're crushing in a cold climate, starting a machine with cold, thick oil is a recipe for disaster. This system makes sure the viscosity is perfect before that flywheel even turns.
Speaking of taking guesswork out and keeping people safe, these machines can be dangerous for the crew working around them. What specific safety innovations are built into the 3650j?
Safety is clearly a priority here. First, there's the Lippmann service pin. The Lippmann is the heavy moving part of the jaw. This pin lets you safely lock that massive assembly into place during maintenance so it cannot move unexpectedly. It's a simple, robust lockout feature.
That sounds absolutely essential. And I read something about jaw die lifting tools. What's the story there?
Oh, this is a detail that operators love.
Mhm.
On older machines, when you need to change the wear parts, the jaw dies, you often had to get a welder to climb in there and weld a lifting eye onto the worn-out steel just to hook a crane to it.
Wow, that sounds awful.
It's hot, toxic work in a confined space. The new Lippmann dies have cast holes designed for a special lifting tool. No welding required. You just hook in and lift it out.
That eliminates a hot work permit and a ton of downtime right there.
Precisely. They also added threaded inserts in the cheek plate castings, which makes those safe and easy to remove as well. It keeps hands and tools away from danger.
It sounds like they've really thought through the day-to-day life of an operator. Now let's talk flexibility. You mentioned that not every rock breaks the same, and sometimes you get stuff in there that shouldn't be. That brings us to the toggles. Can you explain the options?
Sure. The toggle plate is basically the mechanism that translates all that rotary motion into the crushing force. But it also acts as a safety fuse. Lippmann offers 3 different setups.
Okay, let's start with the standard toggle plate.
The standard is a fabricated plate designed for extreme strength. But it has these engineered cutouts. If you get a piece of tramp iron, like a loader tooth or something that can't be crushed inside the chamber, those cutouts are designed to yield. The plate literally bends, acting as a fuse to save the expensive shaft and bearings.
Okay, so that's the base model. Reliable, but you have to replace the plate if it breaks. What if I want something easier to adjust?
Then you step up to the taper wedge lock system. This gives you all the strength of the standard plate, but allows for tool-free, closed side setting adjustments. That's the gap at the bottom that determines your final product size. It uses hydraulic cylinders to move the wedges, so you don't have to get out big wrenches and deal with high-tension springs anymore.
That sounds like a major back saver. And then there's the third option, the top-tier choice.
The hydraulic toggle. This is the premium option. Instead of a plate that bends and needs replacing, you have hydraulic cylinders that act as a pressure relief valve. If uncrushable material enters, the hydraulics just open up, let the object pass, and then they reset.
Wow.
It protects the shaft completely. Plus, it gives you push-button setting adjustments and lets you clear clogs without hammers or cranes. It is the ultimate in uptime.
That hydraulic toggle sounds like it pays for itself just in avoided downtime. Okay, Nick, so we've established the 3650j. Bare jaw is an absolute beast. It's heavy, it's welded, it's smart.
It is. But a jaw crusher usually doesn't just sit on the ground by itself. It needs to move.
Exactly. So for our listeners, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we are going to put this 92,000-pound monster on wheels and see what the 3650j brings to the table. And then we're going to see how it stacks up against the competition. You will not want to miss that. We'll be right back on the Lippmann Academy CrushCast.
For more than 100 years, Lippmann has built the crushers and screening equipment trusted in high-volume aggregate, mining, and recycling operations around the world. Today, that heritage is paired with advanced telematics and data-driven insight, giving operators a clearer understanding of productivity, uptime, fuel usage, and total cost of ownership. Whether you're managing a single quarry or overseeing multiple sites, Lippmann solutions are engineered to help you move more rock, maximize tons per hour, and run a safer, more profitable operation. From legendary crushers to intelligent fleet support, Lippmann is committed to giving you the tools and information you need to make confident decisions. To learn more about how Lippmann can support your operation, visit lippmanncrushers.com or connect with your authorized dealer. Lippmann. Legendary crushers, leading solutions.
Ready to crush it at ConExpo 2026 in Las Vegas? Visit Lippmann in the Silver Lot. Meet our technical experts, connect with the sales team, and see the latest in crushing innovation. Don't miss out. Silver Lot, Lippmann booth.
Welcome back to the Lippmann Academy CrushCast. Now, let's rejoin Nick and Jessica as they continue the conversation.
Welcome back to the Lippmann Academy CrushCast. I'm Jess, here with Nick, and we are deep in the details of the Lippmann 3650j. Before the break, we covered the bare jaw itself. Now, Nick, let's mobilize this thing. Introduce us to the 3650JW wheeled plant.
Right, so the W just stands for wheeled. The 3650JW takes that same 92,000-pound crusher we just discussed and mounts it on a highly configurable, heavy-duty chassis. It's designed for producers who need that hard rock capability, but also need to move from site to site.
And it's not just the crusher on a trailer, though, is it? There's a whole support system. Let's talk about the feeder.
The feeder is massive. It's a 51-inch by 24-foot vibrating grizzly feeder. It's designed to handle the impact of large rock being dumped right into it, and it features a 6-foot grizzly section.
For those new to the term, remind us what the grizzly section does.
The grizzly is just a set of bars at the end of the feeder, right before the rock drops into the jaw. The bars have gaps in them. The idea is simple. If you have small rocks, say 4-inch rocks, and your crusher is set to 5 inches, there's no point putting those little rocks through the crusher.
Right. It's a waste of energy.
It wastes energy and it wears out your metal. The grizzly lets the fines fall through the gaps, bypassing the jaw completely. It increases the overall capacity of the plant because the crusher is only working on the big rocks. The Lippmann unit uses adjustable AR bars, so you can really tune it.
And what's driving that feeder?
It uses Lippmann's LH26 vibe mechanism. It has 2 full-length, self-counterweighted solid steel shafts. It's a very robust drive system designed to keep material moving smoothly. No surging.
Now, I'm looking at the hopper specs. Over 9 feet wide, 20 feet long, that's a huge target for a loader, which is great. But my question is, with a machine this big, how do you move it? If the hopper is that wide, isn't it a nightmare to get a permit for the road?
That is the million-dollar question, Jess. Usually, taking a hopper off a portable plant needs a crane, a crew. It can take hours and cost thousands. But Lippmann has this brilliant answer. The hydraulic hopper removal system.
Okay, how does that work?
The hopper module sits on 4 hydraulic cylinders. When you're ready to move, you just activate the hydraulics. The entire hopper lifts straight up and a flatbed trailer can back directly underneath it. You lower it down, unbolt it, and drive away.
That is incredibly clever. So no crane rental needed at all?
No crane, just the internal hydraulics of the plant. It simplifies transport so much and just cuts down your teardown time.
I also noticed something interesting about the discharge conveyor, or the lack of one.
Yes, the standard configuration for the 3650JW has no discharge conveyor mounted to the chassis, and that is by design.
Why leave it off?
Versatility. It has this wide-open discharge area under the crusher. This allows the flow to go to either side of the plant, but specifically, it's designed to work perfectly with the Lippmann 6042 MW magnet conveyor. That's a separate mobile conveyor that just slides right under the discharge.
So why separate them? 2
big reasons. First, if the belt gets ripped, which happens, it's way easier to service as a separate unit. Second, the magnet. If you're recycling concrete, you're going to have rebar. That rebar will tear up belts. Having a dedicated heavy-duty magnet conveyor lets you pull that metal out efficiently without risking the main chassis of your crusher.
It's modular thinking. Don't weld everything together if they need to do different jobs.
Precisely.
Okay, Nick, we've seen the specs, we've seen the mobility. Now comes the part I have been waiting for, the battle of the crushers. How does the Lippmann 3650JW compare to other machines on the market? I know we aren't naming names, but let's look at the other leading manufacturers in this, say, 32 by 55-inch class.
Let's do it. So looking at the comparison tables, the first thing that jumps out is the frame construction. Again, we mentioned the Lippmann is a welded frame. Many of the major competitors in this specific size class, they utilize a bolted frame design.
And again, welded means better durability in hard rock because bolts can loosen over time.
Correct. Next, let's look at weight. We said the Lippmann jaw weighs 92,000 pounds. If you look at comparable competitive units, they often weigh around maybe 88,500 pounds. That's a difference of nearly 4,000 pounds of steel.
That's the weight of a full-size pickup truck and extra steel. And like you said, in crushing, heavy is good. That extra mass absorbs vibration and stress.
Exactly. Then you have the lubrication. The Lippmann uses that oil bath system we raved about. A lot of competitors are still relying on grease lubrication for their bearings. That means more manual maintenance and a higher risk of failure if a grease line gets clogged or, just gets missed.
That seems like a clear win for the Lippmann edge there. What about the toggles?
This is a big differentiator. Lippmann offers that hydraulic toggle system we discussed, the one that acts as a relief valve. Some of the biggest competitors in this space do not offer a hydraulic toggle option on their machines. If you get uncrushable material in those other machines, you are relying on a mechanical failure or a really difficult cleanout process.
That's a huge operational difference. If you can upgrade to hydraulics, you're just buying uptime. And what about serviceability?
The Pitman service pin and the threaded inserts for the cheek plates that Lippmann includes as standard, those are often missing on other machines. It sounds like a small detail, until you're the one trying to change a cheek plate 10 feet in the air. Having a threaded insert makes it safe. Not having one makes it a headache.
And one last comparison point I see here is the CSS adjustment range.
Right. The Lippmann 3650j offers a massive range. You can set the closed side setting anywhere from a minimum of 3.5 inches up to a maximum of 14 inches. Some competitors max out at 8 or 10 inches. That 14-inch setting gives you huge flexibility if you need to make a larger product like riprap or just pass material through quickly.
So a wider range means more types of products you can sell from the very same machine.
Exactly.
Well, Nick, when you lay it all out like that, the picture becomes pretty clear. We have a machine that's heavier, it's welded, not bolted, it uses oil instead of grease, and it puts safety features right in the design.
That's the summary right there. The 3650j is just built for uptime.
So who is this machine for? Who should be calling their dealer right now?
This is for the serious producers in aggregates, mining, and recycling. If you were dealing with hard rock granite, basalt, trap rock, or heavy concrete recycling, and you need high throughput, this is your machine. If you're tired of welding, lifting eyes, or worrying about grease schedules, this is the upgrade you need.
It certainly sounds like it. You know, Nick, as we wrap up, what's the one thing you want our listeners to think about as they head back to the site today?
I'd leave them with this thought. Think about the cost of ownership, not just the purchase price. If your current machine requires you to weld lifting eyes every single time you change a jaw die, and requires you to stop production to manually grease bearings, how much production time are you actually losing every year? That downtime adds up to real money. Sometimes the tougher machine is actually the cheaper machine in the long run.
That is a very powerful thought to end on. Time is money, especially in this industry.
Absolutely.
Well, if you want to see the specs for yourself, or if you're ready to see what the 3650j can do for your operation, head over to lippmanncrushers.com. We have links to the specific product brochures in the show notes, and there's a contact a dealer feature on the site that will connect you with the Lippmann network in your area.
Definitely check that out. The spec sheets have even more detail than we can cover here today.
And of course, please remember to download, subscribe, and share the Lippmann Academy CrushCast with your team. We don't want you to miss a single episode. We've got more deep dives into equipment coming your way soon.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Nick.
Stay safe out there and happy crushing.
See ya.
Thanks for joining us on the Lippmann Academy CrushCast with Nick and Jessica. To explore more insights, catch new episodes, or learn how Lippmann is helping customers run smarter, safer, and more productive operations, visit lippmanncrushers.com and follow Lippmann Academy online. We appreciate you listening. See you next time.